Hey, it's been a while. Picture this, it's 2016 and an atomic bomb is about to drop on the Roblox front page and you don't even know. A magic-based arena fighter, so good that it had a literal
chokehold on the genre.
And no one else could make something even close to this masterpiece. It was literally too big to fail. And of course, the game I'm talking about is Elemental Wars. What game are y'all thinking about? Oh, and then like 4 months later, Elemental Battlegrounds dropped. And it was just better in every single
way.
And you have to understand, at the time, Elemental Wars was the best thing in this old genre I like to call ability rollers or arc games. So, to fully understand the rise of Elemental Battlegrounds and its slow, putrid,
rotting descent
from the top, and how from those decomposing remains, Bloxfruits was born. I mentioned the old genre that Elemental Wars and Battlegrounds was built upon, so let me give more information on that. I called it an ability roller, but it's more specifically gambling with magics or arcs and fighting with that magic/arc. And obviously, the rarer the magic, the better they perform. Basically, what Soul's RNG should have been, but that's a whole other topic. So back to Elemental Wars. Before the game released, these ability rollers/arc games had a formula, and that formula was common magics had more moves, but those moves had really bad versatility, which made those magics less capable, while the rarer magics had less moves, but those moves were more broken and overpowered, which created an exclusivity loop where the person with the rarest magic would
destroy the server.
There were some outliers like mechanization from Arc of the Elements, which punched above its rarity class a bit, but most of the time, rarer the magic, the better. I can explain more because obviously it goes deeper than that,
but
that should be its own video. And Arc of the Elements was not made by Gamer Robot, so back to Gamer Robot games.
Now that you know the formula,
I could finally get into Elemental Wars and why it was so good. And it was thanks to one simple concept, making the common magics viable.
and fun.
And they kind of had to, because getting rolled, you either had to completely reset your level back to 1, and I think every 15 levels you gotta roll, or paid money. And with the roll economy being that stingy, you wouldn't want a player to grind for an hour, get level 30, reset for 2 rolls, and then get something really dog shit and quit the game. So yes, there was less magics, but they made up for the lack of quantity with quality. The magics as well had a form of categorization, which was indicated by the stats on the roll screen. For example, Earth being very defensive and Lightning being a rushdown archetype. And my final point for why this game succeeded so well is the super rare magics were very strong, yes, and very fun to use, but the game was not centralized around them. For God's sake, Lightning and Darkness, a common and rare magic, were PvP dominant, and each magic did its own thing and wasn't constrained to strict balancing guidelines like a lot of Roblox games are now. A good example is Space Magic. It could snipe you from across the map, but it was balanced by long cooldowns and it was kinda terrible up close. A modern Roblox game would never have something like this, or if they did, it would be so formulaic, like a range limit or each move costing an insane amount of energy. The game was simple, but just complex enough to have a unique expression for each magic. And also, they didn't take this game too seriously at all, man. They had Halloween and fucking Twitter magic, bro. And the game was doing good. W update after W update, Dragon, then Phoenix, then the god variants of the magics like Fire God, Ice God, Lightning God, Light Magic was dropped as well. The game was popular and each update was just positive for the game. How could they possibly one-up themselves now?
And then 4 months later, Elemental Battlegrounds dropped.
Holy shit, get David Mizuki on the phone! Because an all-time classic just hit the second Roblox HQ tower! Holy shit, everyone's fucking burning! Everyone's dying! Everyone's dying of peak! What the fuck is wrong with you? To say this game was influential would be an understatement. If Elemental Wars put Gamer Robot on the map, Elemental Battlegrounds put them on a throne. This game was amazing, full stop. And I can stand here and glaze this game for hours, and I will. Not for hours, obviously, but
Let me tickle a tip off the game, man. Come on.
the maps. It was very smart to have multiple maps for people to play on, and each map having a place where resources spawn made it so that players were funneled and forced to PvP if they wanted more rewards, which, you know, Good. Customization. You weren't locked to a single moveset, which was very refreshing. You could pick and choose, and you could make your own special moveset with all the bits and pieces of other elements, which created a lot of versatility and a lot of combo setups, which kept the game alive. And now we move on to levels. Levels gave the game a sort of longevity. You had an incentive to level up constantly because you got skill points, and it would make your character the stronger. You were rewarded for playing the game, which is a very good thing. And finally,
Fusion magic.
this is by far, I think, the best part of Elemental Battlegrounds, because instead of just spending money to get a element, or sometimes even you have to do an event like with the sound magic, in Fusion magics, you just got a new magic for playing the game and buying two other magics. You combine them into one and you get a new magic basically to play around with, which was honestly very generous. Hey, so yeah, future me here. I was being a nostalgic moid and I completely forgot fusion cost exists, and I completely forgot solar, slime, angel, acid, illusion, chaos, all these fucking holy shit, all these fusion magics that cost an insane amount of gems existed. So never mind.
Ignore that last part.
Current editing me here, don't mute that point because it's my segue into the two big problems for this game. Everything's expensive as fuck. Every update after a while just focused on releasing more broken and expensive magics to grind or pay for. I get wanting a new power benchmark to keep things fresh, but after the initial plasma, crystal, gravity, every update just pushed out a higher and higher tier of element to work towards.
The currency system.
This I feel was a double-edged sword. It got rid of gambling, which is good, but then it opened up another way to grossly monetize the abilities. It went from, oh, just get lucky, bro, to just grind more, bro. It's sad because this system could have been really fair to the players if they stuck to a cap of how broken and expensive a magic should be, and then making updates around that power/currency level. When the game first released, light and darkness and their fusion magic Void was set by the devs to be the most broken and expensive magic. The envelope could have been pushed a bit more because truthfully
They were kind of basic.
but on release they had a very balanced progression path already. And then let me get into some smaller points before the main course. The mana bar plus cooldowns. It should have been either one or the other in my opinion. With both combined, I feel like after 2 fights you're just at a big disadvantage going into a third fight. You'll be out of mana, and if not, all your moves will be on cooldown, and more than likely 0 stamina left, so you won't be able to get away either. My only reason for this combo existing, other than it's a byproduct of making a sequel to Elemental Wars, because that game had that exact combo, is the drop areas on other maps. It gives a person a chance to gank you if you're low on energy, and they will be able to take the zone for a time. Spawn times are non-existent in this game, so dying isn't a giant issue. It doesn't feel good to die just because you're gutted after winning a 2v1 or 2 consecutive fights in a row, only to get comboed by a guy with full mana bar and you're on 0. A survival mode, it's just lazy. It doesn't address gemflation, and all the enemies are just forgettable. Like, I mean, come on, what are these things? And it's just boring. Nothing else to say. Spawn zones. If you played the game in its prime, you know the type of person I'm about to talk about. They poke out, they do 2 moves, and they pop back into the spawn zone. Rinse and repeat. I used to pull them out with the grass vine move, but if they had half a brain cell, you were not getting them out of there. Now, I wanted to pepper those other negatives in so I could show that the game had other faults. I mean, duh. It's a Roblox game.
There's a lot that's wrong with it.
But looking back on it, it's sad to see what these newly blooming practices would pave the way for in the future. You had to realize as well that this was back in a simpler time for Roblox, where games were not purely optimized for revenue, and they really were not that predatory. Elemental Battlegrounds was born from an old Roblox subgenre that I hold close to my heart, and then it died because of the greed and the developers moving on to other projects. And that's the worst sin this game committed, being greedy and then being forgotten. So at the end of its life cycle, you had like 2 options: spend money on gems to get the new element, or never experience the warmth of sunlight and just grind a Roblox game all day. I like being outside, so
I'm not doing that shit, bro.
unless you're Indian or Filipino, then your idea of fun is banging 2 rocks together. So grind away, South Asians. You're single-handedly keeping the copy and paste greatest anime games on Roblox alive. Yo, side note, but these people are cattle, bro.
Not me though, because the exploitative games I played were fun, so it's good actually.
Anyways,
Back on track.
it's sad to see what became of Elemental Battlegrounds, but we can walk the road that it paved. Surely the devs will take this success and make another popular and worth your time / investment game. Surely at the end of the road, there'll be something good, right?
At the end of the road was not a utopia built on corrected.
At the end of the road was not a utopia built on the corrected mistakes of the past, but a bastardization of what people are willing to play. A statue of Baal. And at the foot of that creature, the mastermind behind it
My game 43.
was offering a child, the latest in a long line of sacrifices to the game that shall not be named. I would go over the history of this game, but I'm not superficial and I won't pretend to care about gold spray painted dog shit. Where should I even begin on what I despise about this game? Well, it's not even a game at all. The gameplay is secondary actually. The main thing about this game is the gambling, microtransactions, and the animations and
Aura.
of the devil fruits. And you might be wondering,
Oh, weren't you glazing an old-ass gambling game just a while ago?
and yeah, I was, but at least the gameplay, the limited amount that it had, was the primary focus. The magics you got and fighting with them was the thing this game was built around. Bloxfruits, on the other hand, has PvP, is retarded. But you can't say that about my game, so fair is fair. Has PvE, is boring. Has an economy,
In a bandit beater.
and this is just me. I'm not a Bloxfruits player, so I don't have a sub 40 IQ. But how do these fruits have any value at all? What do you do with them? What do these fruits do in game that makes them so valuable? The PvP in this game is just AoE and effects, and maybe if you're feeling special, a long ass stun move. There's nothing to latch onto. Do your 3 big AoE damage moves or your fucking 1, 2, 3, 4 combo and call it a day. Boom, one shot. Copy and paste any of those properties onto a fruit and boom, I guess it's valuable now. Who knew doing the same broken by design combo on children would be a dopamine rush for so many people? So much so that they keep the game alive. And for transparency, I don't hate that the fruits are rare. That's going to happen in any game. I don't like the fact that these rare fruits can be up to 4k Robux or $50 USD and have nothing better than just looking pretty with bare bones PvP mechanics in a bare bones game. By design, mind you, because there is a formula there. If they want a new fruit to be good and charge a bunch of money, just copy and paste. Nothing innovative at all. Just look cool and have pretty effects. And at that point, bro, just look it up on YouTube. You'll get the same experience as if you got the fruit in game. And this is a side tangent, but fuck bro, Nikke, a mobile gacha game, has gameplay that is arguably more interactive, and you literally play that game in one hand. Then there's Bloxfruits, a game you need 2 hands for, and its gameplay is the cure for insomnia. I know this is a Roblox game versus an actual studio game, but
I have to point this out.
so on to the next point. Nikke has $20 skins for characters and stuff. Gacha game. Characters make or break it. I won't go into the gacha system itself because you spend varying amounts of money on it, but going by the set prices that do not change for both of these games, Bloxfruits has $50 as the price benchmark for their top tier fruits. These are OP, top tier devil fruits in a One Piece game. The thing, in all honesty, you're playing this game for. So you see where I'm going with this? Nikke, you play it for the characters. That's what makes the money. $20 skin. It's an additive. In fairness, you might need to buy the character or get lucky, but the skin is cosmetic and has a set price. Bloxfruits, you play it because of One Piece. What is really famous in One Piece? The devil fruits. That's what makes the money. But the fruits don't offer anything substantial because there is no gameplay that is reasonably in-depth enough for a normal human to latch onto and enjoy. It looks pretty and has good animation and effects. $50. At least Nikke tells you upfront that it's a skin. Bloxfruits wants to sell you that this thing has other uses other than looking nice. A skin with extra steps. And they also have actual skins with artificial rarity. Another arbitrary economy. But back to the fruits. Why are we charging more for Blender VFX? I don't get it all, man. The PvE does not take any form of brain activity as well. So, wow, the sky is blue. Amazing point, I know. But it's numbing. Like, actually numbing to grind and play this game. Because there is nothing you're working towards apart from another set piece island to grind out more set piece enemies to. to, and sometimes a boss. Wow, amazing. This game could be replaced with free models and zero scripting and it would still play the same. And I touched on it a little before, but the aggressive monetization of this game. I don't even think Toei, the people who made the One Piece anime, monetize it as much as these people do. And they cover half a manga chapter per episode. So these people are greedy, but an unaffiliated One Piece fan game monetizes their child audience harder than any greedy AAA dev company could ever. And since the community is primarily children and hollow husk of humans that are the adults that make regular content on this game,
For money.
this type of stuff goes mostly unchallenged. This fan base is mainly kids who don't know any better and easily fall for these monetization traps. I'm talking about stuff like pay to win, OP-ass fruits, where most of them being out of stock promotes FOMO, so you're pushed more into buying it instead of waiting an undisclosed amount of time. That's one thing, but you can just buy a bunch of utility and not lose it like with temporary fruits you buy with the in-game currency. So for example, Buddha, it's very good for farming, and if you buy it permanently, you just have a very good farming fruit now. You cut your playtime in half. Light, very good for traveling. You buy it up permanently, now you have instant access to fast travel basically. But you gotta
Cough up some money.
so you get these quality of life stuff that we intentionally designed the game around needing. Same thing with boosters as well.
You buy 2 times XP, 2 times money, it just speeds up the process.
And mythical scrolls for 1.5k that let you skip a tedious and annoying grind. But even then, some of this stuff is like 10% on the scrolls, so you might need to buy it multiple times. So pay more, piggies. We don't respect you as people. Create the problem, sell the solution. This is a dogshit game where they scoop up and hire the best of the best VFX people and animators to make some really visually appealing stuff. But they scoop up this talent with their loads of cash, and
You know how they get all this money.
game updates once a year, has horrible unbalanced PvP, mind-numbing PvE, and more microtransaction than a 2010 shovelware game. This game needs to be nuked off the platform because its existence just enshittifies the entire place and shows other people what makes money. Not hard work, not a good game, just a skin-walked, unaffiliated IP with pretty animations and an artificially created problem that you then sell the solution to. Be it a grind or quality of life, what it communicates is don't respect the people playing your game. They'll tolerate anything. They'll eat shit from your ass if the game gets popular enough. So use every retention tactic, every scummy monetization method, make the game as bare bones as possible so the dev time can be put into making your dev abilities so you can have fun and dominate in PvP over your players. Because you need to power trip on a game you play as much as Pluto revolves around the sun. Treat your players like golems that will fund you with generational wealth and give them nothing of substance in return. Enshittify and drag down the space you're in, all in the name of profit. And that leads me to my final point, the dragon controversy. I had to outline all those points before this one because this event just proves what I've been saying before. They see you as walking wallets that will eat up anything that is thrown at them. For those who don't know, Dragon was going to get reworked. For a while, it was not obtainable. You couldn't buy it with Robux or in-game currency. Well, when the update dropped, all the people who bought it should have got their dragon fruits, be it permanent or temporary, converted into the reworked version. That is standard practice among games after all. You spend either money or in-game currency on their product, and when a rework happens to said product, you are automatically granted access to that thing. And you may think this is common sense, but just stick with me, I'll show you where this goes. When the update dropped initially, and the people who paid for the permanent dragon ability logged in, they got a token. But this token did not give you access to the new dragon fruit.
No.
Instead, this token gave you a 50% Robux discount. So instead of paying 5k Robux or $62 USD, you paid 2.5k Robux or $31 USD. Do I need to say more? And another option was to exchange it for permanent dough and permanent flame fruit. To put it into perspective, the old unreworked dragon ability was 2.6k Robux or $32 USD. Dough's Robux price is 2.4k Robux or $30 USD. Flame's price is 550 Robux or $6 USD. Mind you, the new dragon is 5k Robux, so a horrible exchange ratio. And they're making you jump through hoops instead of just giving you the fruit you bought.
Permanently.
By the way, does the word permanent not mean anything anymore? Spent money on the game? This fruit will never be taken away from you. No. Unless we rework it and want it to cost more money than it was initially bought for, then you gotta pay us again actually. Oh, but it's permanent with asterisks. My head hurts just reading up on this stuff, so let me get through the last 2 points real quick. You could exchange it for a bunch of game passes like 2 times money, 2 times boss drops, 2 times mastery. Once again, why is there so much hoop jumping to get an approximate exchange value to drag in with other stuff? Just give people the fruit. And finally, you get some swords like the Dark Blade and other high tier elite swords. I'm not too privy on this, so I won't comment further. Oh, and one more thing, the regular dragon token on initial update, you could trade it for a random mythical fruit, except dragon, because God forbid you're already forced into a rigged slot machine. So make sure not even the 1% of people who have this token get lucky and roll the rework version, because then they would experience how the update was meant to be and get that old dragon converted into the new one with extra stats because you have to gamble. No happy player based on my WhatsApp. Now, let me speak on the post-patch changes. For the temporary token, it's now still random, but this is the updated fruit pool now. Shadow for 2.42k Robux, Doe for 2.4k, Venom for 2.45k, Gas for 2.5, Tiger for 3k, Yeti for 3k, Kitsune for 4k, and Dragon itself for 5k. It's still gambling if your dragon fruit gets turned into, you know, the new dragon fruit, but it's in-game currency, so at the very least, nobody's money is being wasted. This still should be way past the point of tolerance and make you stop playing this game. But I'm desensitized, so I'm really not that outraged, which is wrong, but if it doesn't involve real money, then I just don't care as much. I don't play this game and only have a surface level understanding about these issues through my research. If you play this game and for some reason are not wholly ignorant to the problems it has, first off, grow a backbone and quit the game. Stop taking disrespect time and time again from these developers. And while you're at it, do everything in your power as well to stop people from playing this game. But with that out the way, I would expect the people who play it to be more irritated because they have to engage with this roulette system for the chance of maybe possibly getting the rework fruit that was supposed to be just given to you for owning the original pre-rework version. Those people should be more outraged than just me looking in on the situation. Anyways, side tangent over. And to further my disdain for this game even more, let me outline a rough roadmap that happened in the lead up to this update. So, instead of getting your 5k Robux rework,
This is what the devs did.
outline that the fruit was going to get reworked, generate a lot of hype and purchases for the fruit. Take the fruit off sale in 2023 with the Kitsune update to push the exclusivity and value more, and stop people from buying it and getting ahead of the rework. Because it's just my schizo theory, but the update was always planned to drop in this hyper predatory state, and more people getting discounts if the rollout went well would mean less money. But there's no proof for that, and you can also challenge it by saying they took it off sale, so when the rework came out, they wouldn't have to convert all the pre-rework dragons to the new one. But either way, taking it off sale, in my opinion, was there to just boost the sales later. And then finally, when the update comes out, the collectors and people who bought it early to get in front of the rework, they get fucked. We don't respect you, pay us more. Now, after the backlash, because to be honest, even a chained dog, if whipped enough times, will bite, they changed the paid token around. Now you get either West or East dragons for free. Wow, exactly what I said they should have done the first time. But I am very apprehensive to give credit to these devs, because this pattern is in other games as well. They try to push a very scummy update to test their player base. If the player base doesn't fight back and accept it, good. They get to cut corners and be even more scummy. But if the player base fights back, they apologize and revert the original rewards to whatever should have been there from the start. And these people are not ignorant. I am sure this was a highly calculated drop to see the limits their player base could be pushed. And when it was obvious the line was pushed too far, they give you a patch that makes the update not as predatory as they wanted it to be. But here's the thing.
It still is.
If you bought the fruit using the perm token discount function, function, you were compensated for the 2.4k you spent. Said rewards would be high-tier fruits like Flamer Dough, premium game passes, and mythical scrolls. I guess, bro. Devs couldn't just give either the West or East permanent dragon for free as well, depending on which one you bought. Doesn't seem like they feel too bad about their fanbase being unhappy and trying to compensate them generously with the hotfix. Because if the fans are mad, they will quit, and you don't want them to quit. So in some cases, you give them more as an apology, and you do this because it says that you're taking into account their displeasure. But it's not like that. This hot patch just signals that they're more annoyed that their brain-dead audience didn't let them get away with a scam, and now they're doing the bare minimum. Now you see why I hate this game so much? It's not only a shitty and horrible experience from a dev team that made some of my favorite childhood games on Roblox. It's a hellscape propped up by developers who hate you, who nickel and dime their player base for everything they own, hijacked the One Piece IP, and made millions off the attachment of children to their favorite media, with the YouTubers at the top who have voices in this space that will never call out any of this, because being in the inner circle just pays too much, you know? Just pays too much. I hope any rights holders for One Piece finds this game and sues all the developers into the ground. If Pokemon Break Bronze can get taken down for copyright, then I think Bloxfruits should follow suit as well. And I'm no legal expert, so I don't know what they could catch them on, but
multi-billion-dollar corporation.
they could make it work. I also don't care that if me saying this pushes a precedent on Roblox that stifles the creativity of people making games on IPs or whatever. Roblox is already a shithole with predators and just an endless sludge of games that waste your time. The slums of Somalia are probably a safer place for children than Roblox. I was lucky to be able to play Roblox in a period of time where the games had some sort of soul put into it, and the coding and platform upgrades made those ideas come even more to life. Arcane Adventures is a game I think of when I say this, but my personal golden age with Roblox has passed, and if all the lawsuits and legislations take this platform down, that just means Bloxfruits, if it hasn't been sued to the ground by then as well, gets to go down with it. And to that, I just say burn it all down. Thank you for watching.